The Lord be with you. A proclamation from the Holy Gospel according to St. Mark. May the Lord be in my mind, on my lips, and in my heart. As Jesus was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a sizable crowd, Bartimaeus, a blind man, the son of Timaeus, sat by the roadside begging. On hearing that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, "Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me." And many rebuked him, telling him to be silent. But he kept calling out all the more, "Son of David, have pity on me." Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." So they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take courage, get up. Jesus is calling you." He threw aside his cloak, sprang up, and came to Jesus. Jesus said in reply, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man replied to him, "Master, I want to see." Jesus told him, "Go your way, your faith has saved you." Immediately he received his sight and followed him on the way. The Gospel of the Lord. By the words of the Holy Gospel, may our sins be wiped away. Good morning, everyone. One of the many things that stands out to us in the Gospels, particularly in Mark, which is the shortest one, as you know, and the first one written, is how Mark gets to the point. There's not a lot of detail given. He wants to present it in its essence. As a matter of fact, in one of the translations I remember years ago, at least as I was in this seminary, the prof pointed out that in Mark's Gospel, the word immediately was used 52 times. I mean, there's this sense of breathiness, like I've got to get this down. And so the pivotal points of what it is to have faith, Thomas Aquinas again defines it as taking a stand, to be earnest, to trust, to have confidence, to approach Jesus, as the people said to the blind man today, when they said, "Jesus is calling you," out of his cry, "Go with courage, come to me, all ye who." One of the things that strikes me especially is how the man did that finally with alacrity. But he did it out of a sense of the depth of great need and pleading, begging, groveling practically, humiliating himself, being humble, and crying out, "He who was blind, have mercy on him, heal me." One of the things that's pointed out in the commentaries about this particular gospel is that the Pharisees and other people standing around, even though they could see, were not doing what the blind man was doing, which was calling him Messiah, the anointed one, the one that was to come. They saw and didn't believe. And here's the blind man that didn't see, but he could feel and he could sense. And it would propel him into coming out of himself and begging for, in this particular case, the ability to see visually, but especially to claim the mercy that Jesus came to give us in his healing power of the sacraments. I remember years ago in one of my parishes, there was a woman whose daughter had cancer. I asked her to write it down to me. She told me quickly after Mass. Sometimes I do that with people when they whisper things to you, maybe after confession, or you meet them somewhere and they tell you something of faith that they experience, a faith experience, an insight that they had. I honestly believe that Jesus gives that to us, certainly for our own praise, answer to our prayers, praise him, but also in someone in my and our situation to share those. Some experience that you had that will serve for the good of the many. And so she wrote this very quickly down. It was a cold day in Pittsburgh. She was pregnant with her 5th child. She writes then, I was at a doctor's office and just before me he'd found some cancer in my child. He also informed me that I have to wait because she needed surgery, but she had a very young baby. It was a long time that she had to wait. She had a husband and 4 children, and she decided to pray the rosary. See, there's that rosary again that Our Lady pleads with us to pray so that we can intuit and humble ourselves and open ourselves up to God's grace, not just for ourselves, but to pray for the many, for the world. She made a point of saying, I prayed very hard. She underlined it and underlined it and underlined it. I prayed very hard to Mary, asking for a healing. Thanks be to God, it doesn't always happen, but the healing came. And she said that she would ever be thankful to the Blessed Mother. But the accent, I accent it mostly because she pointed it out. She prayed very hard. Have you ever prayed very hard? I wonder if you realize what that means sometimes. I think of Bartimaeus here, who is desperate. He wants to see. Put yourself in that situation. He hears about the healer, the miracle worker. He hears his words. He's impacted in his heart. And here he is walking in the midst. And so he cries out. It's called heartfelt prayer. I think of one of the thieves that was hanging on either side of Jesus Christ during the Passion. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. The man is dying. He will soon be dead. And he cries out with heartfelt prayer. And what does Jesus say? Today you will be with me in paradise. Heartfelt prayer. I had a cousin once who had a daughter who had MS. She's beside herself. She decided to take, she was a teenager by this time, her teenage daughter with MS to Lourdes. She went through the baths and all of that. She came home and I called her. And I said, well, what do you think? Was there a miracle? Did anything happen? She said, my daughter Terry, she said, wasn't healed, but I was. She said, somehow or another, I have the grace. I will endure this. I will get through this. I prayed with all my heart, she said, and the grace was given to me. It isn't what I wanted, but it's obviously God's will, and I was given the grace to surrender. There's the word, surrender to the Lord. Your will be done, not mine. There's the rub. But when you cry out in heartfelt prayer from your toes, as my dad used to say to me, when you pray, pray from your toes in thanksgiving for something or for what you want. Pray that you're given the will, my dad used to say. Interesting, not a lot of education, but a lot of wisdom. Pray for his will to be done. And that's really what we are all about in our journey, isn't it? About praying very hard to the Lord so that we're not blinded whenever we have our traumas and catastrophes and disappointments and betrayals or whatever else goes on. It can throw us off our track. It can, where are you? Kind of a thing. I think Catholics say that more than other denominations, lamenting about the real absence, because we, with all due respect to those outside of the Catholic fold, we have a sense of your real presence. So we sense what we feel is the real absence. gospel, especially when we're in sin. Sin never makes us happy. It can shut down grace, joy, comfort. But also when we're not getting our way, or we see the evil that goes on, and the corruption, and the crime, and the violence, and whatever else. Where are you? Well, he's here. Something called permissive will. It is in his will that such things happen. But we have the grace of seeing. There is more to this than what is going on in the environment that we are in. We know that because of Jesus Christ, all has been triumphed over. He will bring whatever is to be brought out of that negative and those walls that we hit. Especially see that we not only survive and thrive, that I offer up my sufferings and my disappointment that I'm seeing in the world. I don't know why this is going on, but Lord, bless everyone everywhere. Bless those who are doing this. Cry out with heartfelt prayer. He loves that whenever we open up ourselves and pour ourselves out. And by all means, complain. Complain all you want to the Lord. It's a relationship. Don't you cry out and complain and whatever else to the people in your life that you're close to. You know that they'll still love you, even though you are doing what we do in the human condition. It's called lamentation. It's actually a prayer, you know. There's a whole book in the Old Testament called Jeremiah. It's the book of Lamentations. He's very upset about what's going on and not real happy with you, although you'd yet to incarnate to the Father. But he cries out and he pours himself out, empties himself out, so he can fill it up with something that Bartimaeus had. Courage to continue to go to the Lord. That those disappointments don't thwart me from my faith walk. As a matter of fact, they give me the grace, meaning God's strength, to continue forward. Your will be done, not mine. So, it's part of the process of a relationship. We praise, bless, thank, and complain to you. It's part of a relationship. And I empty out of that so that I can again be filled up with the courage to continue onward. Sometimes as Christians and Catholics, I'm a terrible person because I complain. I'm supposed to be nice. By all means, be pleasant and nice and wonderful. But don't keep back. Don't keep back. It goes like this. God comes for these open hands. I give him this. See the good that I have done? I keep this tightly balled hand behind me. Well, this is what he came for. And so by God, if we say, help me, heal me, help me to see, he's going to pry those fingers open because he wants this. The messiness, the disappointments, the anger, all those things that we have. And when we give it to him, it's a kind of resurrection from death. He restores it to faith. I don't understand what's going on, but I'm going to keep on going. And I pray for those who, and fill in the blank. Just give me the grace to persevere and to persist in doing your will. It's really what the sacraments are all about, isn't it? Give us the grace to continue to have patient endurance. We walk by faith, not by sight. So by all means, pray hard, like that lady did in Pittsburgh. She got on her knees and prayed the rosary and prayed hard. In her particular case, a prayer was answered according to her will, but a lot is not. And still we are faithful, because it's not for us to know. Again, we live in mystery, a surplus of meaning in things already understood. What is understood, it is in the end, God triumphs. And when we are faithful, what helps us is that promise for Lady of Fatima. In the end, my immaculate heart will triumph. Please stand.